Well, welcome back, everybody, to the third segment of Relentless Talk Radio. This is the art and fashion segment, and I have Maggie Keane with me here, and she's in her studio, and she's working on that fantastic painting in the back. I'm really super excited about this interview because, Maggie, you and I have talked a little bit, but I want to know more about your work, so I get to do it live on Facebook, which is awesome. So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Maggie Keane. I'm a painter. I've been painting my entire life. In the 80s, I was a billboard painter, and I did a lot of theater work, backdrops and sets and things like that. I've been a court sketch artist for 40 years in federal court. So I've sketched everybody from Don Bowles, I think was my first one, and all the way up to Joe Arpaio. So that's a lot of fun. I love doing court sketches because I like doing portraits. And this is a painting that's going to be on display at the Hive Gallery for the Coronado Art Show. I live in Coronado neighborhood, and every year they have an art show. So this is the painting that'll be in it.
You said so many things there that are amazing me. Like, this is what I love about getting to do this. I get to talk with people, and the whole court thing. Like that always fascinated me.
It always did me too.
It's fascinating because I'm an artist, but that to me is like a whole other. It's a whole other level skill set to be able to real time capture an expression and the mood of the moment, and it's just a fantastic. Do we still do courtroom sketches?
Yes, in federal court they don't allow cameras, and sometimes you only get about 2 seconds. You know, there's somebody's in there and out, and you have to sort of rely on your memory, what they were doing, what they looked like, and you sketch them really fast. So
I mean, that's like an amazing skill. I mean, that's like people just don't even get how amazing it is.
A lot of practice of just sketching things really quickly, and especially in court sketching, just sort of taking a picture with your face, with your eyes of someone's face, you know, and remembering what to put down.
I mean, I'm just blown away. I mean, no wonder you're so fantastic when you have a time to work on the painting that you have behind you, and to do the amazing mural work that you do, which is like scary realistic. I mean, I'm like speechless when I look at it, honestly. I mean, it's just so amazing. So that gives me a deeper, this is why I love talking to artists, because there's always a story behind the work. You're so good at doing stuff when you have time, and it's because you can do amazing things in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, also as a billboard painter, we had to work really fast because there was a bottom line and there was a time frame. And my boss used to say things to me like, "Kid, don't fall in love with it," you know, because I'd get there working on some face, and I'd have to back off, you know, because I was really spending too much time. You have to work fast. So I got used to doing that.
I'm floored. I really am. So why? I mean, you've been making art your whole life, right? So, and I think that artists that are, I don't know. I think there's artists that decide to go to school and they become an artist, and then I think that artists that are born artists. It sounds to me like you were a person literally was born an artist.
Yeah, there are things to learn. There are techniques to study and things like that. And but if you have an inner drive, like I always did as a child, just the first thing I did when I picked up a pencil was draw pictures with it. And I got
part of the deal.
Yeah, I got in trouble in school for drawing pictures all the time. So
the why for you is like you're just, I don't know, genetically predisposed, but why do you keep doing it? Is it that you fell in love with art as a kid and you're doodling, but now you're a grown up? I mean, why do you keep doing it?
I have to do it, or I'm not. I just don't feel right. You know, if I'm having just like a day off, is like, oh, what do I do with myself today? I'm gonna paint. You know, because painting seems to be the one thing that just it just calms me down, and I can think and focus, and I feel good after I paint something, you know, like when I had a for 13 years, and when he died, you know, I had to take him to the vet to be put down, and the first place I wanted to go was to work. You know, I had to go and paint, and just couldn't stay home. They said, "Oh no, take the day." I said, "No way! I'm coming in to paint. I have to paint."
To me, it's you get lost in whatever. I'm a visual journalist, so I tell stories and I illustrate them, and I think that's what all artists do. We all tell stories one way or the other, right? When I get into painting, I'm lost. If 5 hours go by, it's like you just were. What do you mean I'm late for dinner? What do you mean? I have to set an alarm to make myself stop because I get in the zone.
Yeah, definitely the zone. You can feel your brain working, and you can feel just sort of a calmness as you just go from one step to the next, to the next, to the next, and everything sort of, when it starts falling into place, it's not the feeling. There's nothing like it, really.
Every day that I make art, I'm just so grateful that I get to do it. Because some people say, have you ever had people say, "Oh, I can't draw a straight line"?
All the time. You know what? I can't either. I need a ruler.
I know. So what made you? I mean, you have this love for art, so I get the why, the personal motivation. But what makes you be a working artist? Because it's one thing to have art as a hobby, but you're a working artist. You make your living as an artist.
Well, let's see, regular jobs, which I've had a lot of, they paid the bills when I was like a student, or a struggling artist. I had to have a side job or a second job or even a third job kind of a thing to pay bills. When those things, they end up taking up your time, and you're realizing, I'm an artist. I've got to be producing art, but I don't have the time to do it because of these jobs. So when you get to a point where you can start selling things or getting commissioned, and doing a piece that'll take you maybe to the point where you can drop one of those jobs, or you start making money at your craft, it's a huge difference. And when it starts looking like work, okay, like when I was a billboard painter, it really was a 9-to-5 grind. It was really good practice. I loved everything that I was doing there. But you were part of a machine that was cranking out an ad for a product, and you weren't really painting what was coming from you. You were painting what was coming from the client, what they wanted, and the advertising agency and things like that.
That's about graphic design. I was a graphic designer, and I had a marketing company in New York City. And I remember sitting in, one of my clients was Revlon. And I remember thinking, I'm just an advanced administrative assistant.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically, you have like 12 marketing people that are saying, Michelle, we want this, this, and this. And here's the brand book, and have at it. And kind of like, after several years of doing that, I realized it wasn't a good use of my creativity.
Well, the great thing about being a billboard painter was I got to do what I love to do on a grand scale.
Huge.
But I wasn't producing what was inside of me. So, when you can sit at a canvas and do something that's coming out of you, a message that you want to make through whatever it is you're painting, the feeling is a lot different.
It's a lot different.
And you feel more successful when people get what you're saying, and they want to see more like that, or something like that. So
tell me about the Prince painting, because it really is fantastic. I mean, and you've done a lot of mural paintings. You have some stuff in desert. Where's the other place? It's like a shopping place down in Tempe.
Oh, I didn't do those. I didn't do any of those.
But you have a couple murals around town.
Yeah. I have a mural in Oak Street, on Oak Street Alley. Mm-hmm. I have another one on 7th Avenue, the Melrose Pharmacy building, and one or two. The David Bowie mural on 7th Street, and then there's another.
About the David Bowie one. It's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. And but when I was a billboard painter, I used to think, I would love for a record company to buy a billboard and send me somebody that I'm interested in painting. like David Bowie, I would just wrap my brushes around that image. But alas, it was not to be. And so that's why when he passed away, I wanted to go out there and do a tribute to him. And then when Prince passed away, first of all, I fell off my chair. It was such a bad year,
Yeah.
for musicians. And so I was ready to drop everything and go find a place to put him. And I just, got to work putting an image together with all these different looks and all these different eras of his career.
The glasses, the round glasses, it's just fantastic.
Thanks. When I thought of doing a Prince mural, and he was, Purple Rain was my favorite era.
Yeah.
He was in those inscrutable glasses quite a bit. And you wondered, he just always seemed so, you know what I mean? Like, unapproachable when he was wearing those.
I used to have a feeling about him like he was so famous that it was painful for him.
Well, you got the impression definitely that he was not into attention. He did not really like getting a lot of attention. But you think, oh, those beautiful eyes, you have to paint those beautiful eyes, right? But the first thing I thought of was, well, I got to use those glasses somehow, and the way I'm going to do it is to use real ones. And I just got this idea that I better do it quickly because somebody else is going to have that idea, because it was such an obvious no-brainer to me. If you do a Prince mural, slap those things on there, it's going to be great. And I don't know if anybody else has done it or not, but I'm just glad I did. Maybe I'm the.
It's just fantastic. It was funny because I kind of knew where it was, but the first time I drove by it was like by accident. I was driving by, I was like, wait a minute. Wow, there's the mural. Oh my God, because I saw it online first and I shared it, and Keena's like, blowing up on social media, commenting below. She's saying she's from Minneapolis. So she was a huge Prince fan. And she came out to see you and was just so amazed by it. So I just think that Phoenix is really it's in a very interesting time as far as mural art is concerned. There's some amazing work happening throughout the valley right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with good ideas and good art skills that are putting the murals out there. And I did get a message from someone who runs the Paisley, what's the Prince's Paisley Park in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The guy that runs the tours of Paisley Park is interested in having me come paint a mural there, so I'm working on that. That'll be fun.
Fantastic.
But I was a huge fan of his and never got to see him live, unfortunately. But just visually, I'm a visual
waste, right? I mean, what a incredible waste of talent and just a very special human being that we lost far too soon.
Oh, unbelievable. But, visually these guys were just like David Bowie and Prince, and just visually they were so impressive, and as well as musically. And my whole family. What's that?
Janis Joplin too. And you know what movie I saw I don't know, a couple of months ago, the Elton John movie.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen that.
I haven't remember the name of the movie now. I hate menopause. Poof, it's gone. It's in there somewhere, but it's not going to come out right now. But I went to see it. It's a musical. It's not just it's a musical like a Broadway musical. But it tells the story of just the difficulty of being famous and being different.
Yes.
So as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, God, you've been through like a huge amount of change, because the advertising agency world and the billboards are now billboards are rotating digital images.
Oh yeah, they're like TVs. They're like movie screens.
Giant televisions. I was watching, and it's almost distracting when you're driving on the road in Phoenix. And in Vermont, actually, there's a law. There's no billboards in Vermont. It's against the law to have a billboard in Vermont.
Oh yeah, I like Vermont. I've been there many times.
Cool, right? But at the same time, I really appreciate. I've designed a couple of billboards in New York City as well, but they were giant prints. But you've seen a lot of change in commercial art. You've seen a lot of change in. Just in the whole courtroom arena, and how much those skills are needed there, and just change in the how have you always been in Phoenix as an artist?
No, I was born in Brooklyn and I grew up in New Jersey. I moved out to Tucson to go to the U of A in the 70s, and then I moved up to Phoenix in about 1982.
So you've
Um,
seen like huge changes happen in the art world here.
I have. When, as a billboard painter, there was a guy that used to come down and try to sell my boss on vinyl, to wrap the billboards in vinyl, which would have put us painters out of business. And all the painters were just up in arms. Oh no, we can't have vinyl because then we won't have jobs anymore. But I knew one of these days the price of vinyl is going to come down and we are going to be out of jobs. It was kind of looking over your shoulder like the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when they were running from the law. And every now and then he'd look and he'd see the little cowboy running, on his
Yeah.
the little posse in the distance, and he'd go, "Who are those guys?" Because they were constantly chasing him. And I used to think of the vinyl guys like that. Yep. I mean, our time as billboard painters is numbered.
Right.
So better have something, to go into when that happens.
You
And
remind
then,
me of something that happened for me at Revlon. I had a small team. There was four of us, and one of them, one of my teammates, I won't say his name because he might be watching. He was with Revlon for 23 years, and he was
uh-huh.
the quintessential, gay, had the house out in East Hamptons, like just flamboyant, just like fantastic, incredible talent. And I remember saying to him, you better get ready. Like if I'm coming in as a freelancer, this is eventually all going to this is going to change for you.
Yeah.
And sure
Yeah.
enough, in that year, they escorted him out of the building.
Uh-huh.
He was appalled. I mean, like after 22 years working for a company, he was literally physically escorted out of the building.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't embraced technology.
Well, the days of you work for a company and start at the bottom and work your way up, and that company's going to take care of you for the rest of your life are over. My dad's generation was probably the last where, he worked at Bell Labs. And then Bell Labs broke up and he retired, and within a month he was dead. So now that mantra has been beaten into so many people's heads that, okay, so they graduate and they get a job at a company, and lo and behold, the company does not provide any health insurance for them, and they hire them on a per contract basis, and it's your future is not secure, and they take your work and then they let you go, or the whole company takes everything and moves to China or moves to Mexico. My brother's a mechanical engineer in manufacturing, and that's been happening to him his whole life. So
I was talking in the kind of pre-Tickler interview about I sold my house, had moved down to Phoenix. Now I'm moving to North Phoenix. And this, 2 moves in a year, like my head is spinning, right? But
yeah.
it's just, and as an artist, I'm like, oh my God, I have all this art stuff to bring with me. And I'm a business person. I have business stuff. And, of course, I'm in fashion. And so my closet indicates that I have stuff in my closet. I literally took 3 bags of clothes out of my closet because I have less closet space in my new space. But,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is that change is inevitable. And that's what the author was Eric Morgan from Inc. magazine was talking about. Change. You can expect it. It's just part of the landscape of the way the world is today.
It is, and you have to be flexible, and you can't get stuck on a spot that the spot's not going to be there for you anymore. And then, what are you going to do with yourself? There needs to be you have to have a lot of irons and a lot of different fires, and wear a lot of hats. Yep. I haven't gotten to the part where I ran away with a circus, though, have I?
There's always an option, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you could find a circus somewhere that would love for you to come paint an elephant.
I'm telling you, I did. I was hired by a circus to paint their trucks. I went on the road. I went on the circus and painted their trucks. I met a man on the circus who was an acrobat, and we've been married now for 26 years. We have a 22-year-old.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I spent 6 years on the circus traveling with him in his act.
So you
As
actually went off with the circus. That's hysterical.
we've been all over the country several times. We've been to Germany, we've been to England, we've been to Japan twice, Colombia, South America, Canada several times, and it's a great way to see the world. And on the way, I took a lot of pictures. I did some portraits of some of the circus performers, and I have a lot of pictures. I'd still like to do paintings from on being on the road with the circus.
Maggie, I think you're just fantastic. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk live because this. I mean, I'm gonna have I have smile cramp in my face. There's so many things about you that are just so cool. You know, we were planning on working on a project together that ended up not being able to come to fruition. But I look forward to working with you on some project at some point because I just think you're an incredible talent. And I think that more people need to see your work, and I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open for opportunities to tell more people about what it is that you do. So if somebody wants to contract you or see your work, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, on the bottom right-hand corner of every mural I have is my Instagram. You can contact me right through Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook and send me a message there. I'm still working on a website.
I got it.
The things that I have.
Maggie Keane, is that your
Keane?
Say it again.
Keane. Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Twitter. It's at Maggie Keane's Art, ZART. So that's how you can find me.
So it's ZART?
Yeah, at Maggie Keane, ZART.
Cool, awesome. The reason why I'm making you say it out loud is that this starts off on Facebook Live and then it goes to YouTube. So I'll give you a YouTube link probably tomorrow morning, and then eventually all of these are going to podcast. So you know, you'll be able to share this interview with people via podcast too. Maggie, thank you for the work that you're doing, for being the bright light that you are, and for the amazing murals that you're making in Phoenix, because what you're making is a legacy of art in Phoenix, and you're really, you along with Lucretia Torva and Robert Gentile and many other artists that there's too many to even name, are doing amazing things as muralists in Phoenix and making our city just, you know, putting us on the map in a way that no other way art can do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for what you do for the community, and thank you for being a bright light. I look forward to getting to know you better in the future, and that's it. We've done our conversation on Relentless Talk Radio. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Mwah. All right, everybody, that's it. Episode 37 is a wrap, and you can come back next week every Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30. I'm usually interviewing a health person and either an entrepreneur, an artist, or a philanthropist in the second division. So that's it, everybody. See you later, Maggie. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.